Alright, update on Kadena. So we are continuing with this drop that we've been talking about for the last couple of days. We haven't done too much moving since yesterday, to be honest. I mean, if I go on the 4-hourly time frame, when we made a video, I believe we were down here, we were just on $4. We aren't necessarily predicting a move down to $2.80. It is, however, the next price target that we do have on the screen. As you can see, Kadena has unfortunately taken out both of your 786 Fibonacci's, depending on whether you draw it from the wick or the close. You also had your last line in the sand being these previous wicks we had at 440. We have taken them out. We're now pushing below $4, which is obviously a psychological level as well. Either way, it looks like Kadena is heading down. Now, I've talked about this in my past couple of videos. There are a few signals that the macro bottom could be near, but once again, I say this every video and I never get bored of saying it. If you've watched my Kadena videos, you know that since the 8th of April, we've been telling you Kadena's bearish, the trend is your friend until the end, while other Kadena YouTubers have been saying, you know, we're going to pump once we come down here, we're going to pump once we come here, we're going to pump here, 10x, 10x, 100x. We've been keeping it real. We've been telling you that we're in a bearish stance right now. It's all good being long-term bullish on Kadena. Like, I'm not bringing the fundamentals into this. I do think Kadena is a decent project for the long term. However, I don't think investing in Kadena at this moment in time is a good idea, because we've just completely invalidated this whole bullish structure. I mean, you're below the 786 fib, so it's done. It's basically a wrap. Kadena's going down, in my opinion. Well, it's not just my opinion. Kadena is going down. I think it has further to go down, in my opinion. Honestly, like I said, the only next price level that we actually have on this screen is all the way down here at $2.86. And, you know, I could draw really micro fibs based on like 3 days worth of price analysis. But I really don't think there's anything apart from this fib that we've got here that can give us, you know, any indication of where we'd be going. We really didn't stop too much at this 1.6. We are stopping at this 2.618, so, you know, this fib from this low to this high at least seems to be somewhat respected. And once again, I'm really pulling these micro trends. What I want to show you is, you know, we could bounce before we come down to this level. Like, I am telling you, this is the next macro level down. So it would make sense for us to come down to here. However, we do not need to go that low, and I am not saying for any means that we are going to go that low. However, we are going down. I'm not trying to catch the falling knife. I've said this in every video. The trend is your friend until the end. We're clearly in a downtrend. I said this when we were at $6.40. We've been sitting on the sidelines looking to play from a position of strength, while other YouTubers have been telling you we're going to do 100x by tomorrow. We've been saying we're bearish. We're 38% down since we flipped bearish. I'm still sitting on the sidelines. Like I said, I mean, you can draw these micro fibs and, you know, you could say, okay, we could potentially come down another 20% and bottom just above the $3 mark at like $3.20. I think the point of the matter is, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is struggling. There's exponential volume coming in to sell Bitcoin down in the past couple of hours. In my opinion, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Bitcoin has just broken out of a big macro pattern, and whether you want to draw this, you know, line down here and potentially extend this channel, so be it. But Bitcoin hasn't reversed bullish. And I've also talked about this in a lot of my other videos, but we have a Federal Reserve meeting between the 3rd and 4th of May. I think that would make sense for us to have a reversal around that period in time, which is why I'm saying we can chop around this level. We can go down a tiny bit and then reverse on the 3rd or 4th of May, or we could come all the way down to $3.20, reverse by the 3rd or 4th of May, or we could come all the way down here. The point of the matter is, my crystal ball doesn't work. I've broken it, so unfortunately we're just going to have to run on normal technical analysis, and the analysis says we're in a downtrend. So, you know, whether you want to look at this on the daily and just appreciate that we've broken out of this bear flag, we're breaking down from this daily EMA ribbon. On the 4-hour, you know, the 4-hour is really a hard hitter. Every time we have these pumps, basically, these micro pumps in the short term, we always seem to come up and test the long-term moving average on the 4-hour EMA. It was only a couple of days ago, or it was only 2 days ago, yeah, since we last came and tested the 4-hourly EMA. Normally there's a 2 or 3 day gap, sometimes a lot longer gaps between these retest points. So look, I mean, Kadena, look, even in the short term, it's breaking below its lows. It does not look good right now, and like I said, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to say, oh my god guys, Kadena is the best project in the world. Invest now, blindly DCA and be someone else's exit liquidity. That's not what I'm here for. I'd get more views if I just lied and said, you know, Kadena 10x by tomorrow. But we're not seeing this chart. We're not seeing any signs of a reversal. In fact, we're seeing an increase in bearish momentum during this squeeze bomb trend. We've come back, reset the momentum, and now we're pushing back to the downside. So because the bears have been very slowly chopping to the side and keeping this momentum in play, it just means that the bears are in full control. And I don't want to make this video too long. Like, there are a few bullish signals, like I said. Your oscillators, not the weekly, like for example, the weekly relative strength index is super weak right now, and historically when we came down this low, it was normally the bottom. The money flow indicator is still exponentially increasing, because that is just meaning that retail traders are still picking this up, even though larger hands are dumping on them. So we're running out of momentum right now for the bulls. When you look at the higher trends, for example, if we come over to the weekly, you know, we're still trying to flip bullish, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, in my opinion. So, you know, if you believe in KDA for the long term and you want to DCA, so be it. I don't necessarily think now is the worst time to DCA, but I'm a short-term investor. I'm not trying to hold Kadena for the long term. I have no issue letting you know my status on Kadena. I don't hold Kadena. I do think Kadena is very overhyped right now. Sure, you can argue it's got great fundamentals, great team, etc., but this hype has come out of absolutely nowhere, in my opinion. I think this is way too overhyped for now. It is showing people are hyping it up and they're selling at the same time, so it's almost like people want you to be their exit liquidity. And like I said, every time I make a video on Kadena, we're at a lower price target. Every video I say the trend is your friend until the end. I'm not DCAing at this point. And when we were down here, we were talking about, you know, so be it if we break out at the top of this, and I'd rather buy a breakout than to blindly DCA. And once again, we've come to that point where, you know, you could have DCA'd around here, but we just waited. We waited to find a bottoming signal. It never came, and the price keeps on going lower. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. Kadena is clearly in a huge bear trend. The lower time frames you come into, the more control the bears have, which does make me feel like Kadena could possibly drop another 20% or so. Since I started recording this video, we've already started falling down like 2% or so. So, you know, we've got about 18% to go before we could have a potential bottom of the 3.618. Like I said, every macro trend, every macro fib, every macro trend line, every moving average, you're below it. So, I mean, there's no reason to be bullish for Kadena while it's this bearish. If you do believe in Kadena in the long term, and you believe that it is going to have a huge rip, then why does it matter if you blindly DCA in at this price? Wouldn't it not be better to wait for a reversal like this, and then you can pick up KDA for a cheap price after this huge downtrend, and you can wait until we initiate our next rally? Because I imagine the next rally that KDA has is going to be a big rally, and it's going to have another blow off top like it did here. So if you are expecting another blow off top type rally, why not just wait and see when this downtrend ends? Because if Bitcoin continues to chop around this much, if Bitcoin continues to dump, while, by the way, you know, the stock market is absolutely crashing. I don't know how many of you watch my Bitcoin videos and then watch my extensive analysis on the stock market. But if you're just in KDA and you don't look at the stock market, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're not looking at what the general markets are doing. And the stock market looks terrible. You know, you've got stocks like Tesla that have just fallen below major levels of support. Coinbase is making new lows every day. The Nasdaq is making new lows. Literally everything looks terrible. Facebook is coming down after its recent pump. It came into the daily EMA ribbons and started to crash, and the dollar is looking exceptionally strong. I feel like it is absolutely stupid to DCA something that's only recently just came out of all this hype, when the chart is inevitably bearish. So like I've been saying in these videos, if you do plan on holding Kadena for the long term, DCA if you want. Obviously I'm not here to shill you out your bags or scare you out of a trade, but it's dropping like a rock. I don't understand how these crypto YouTubers are going to keep on shoving Kadena down your throat and saying that, you know, we're going to reverse by tomorrow when the chart is clearly bearish. So it is what it is. Once again, I'm here to provide the voice of reason and just say what I see in the charts. The charts do not look good for KDA, and if you've been watching me, like I said, since the 8th of April, we've been looking for a place to enter KDA. I'm not a long-term KDA bear. In fact, I actually want to get into a trade to capitalize on some of this exceptional hype that Kadena has been witnessing. However, there's no bottoming signal in sight. We're not doing an inverse head and shoulders. We're not Wing out. We haven't flipped any EMA ribbons. Selling volume is worse than ever. Bearish momentum is worse than ever. The stock market, the overall general markets are doing terrible right now. You've got a Fed meeting between the 3rd and the 4th of May. There is a plethora of reasons why I think KDA is still going to be coming down, or worse comes to worse, it chops sideways for a few days. And don't get me wrong, like I said, once Kadena has a bottoming signal, you know, whether that is an inverse head and shoulders, or we do something like this is when I look to enter the market, not when we're falling like a knife. In my opinion, if you end up buying at these levels, you're literally going to be someone else's exit liquidity until we get to a cheaper price, we have a bottoming signal, and then all of the smart traders are going to start buying Kadena once they realize there's bottoming signals, and then the retail traders are going to run in. Once again, they're going to run in late, they're going to get slaughtered, or they're just not going to have any bags to DCA Kadena because they've been buying at, you know, $6, $7, $8, $10, $5, $4, and once again we're coming down into the $3 region. I'm going to wrap the video up. There is a plethora of reasons why Kadena is exceptionally bearish right now. Once again, the trend is your friend until the end. When we flipped bearish on Kadena, we were breaking out of this bull trend. We are now down almost 40% as of the time of recording this. I'm still sitting on the sidelines. I'm still waiting for that bottoming signal. If it never comes, then I will not be touching KDA. That is all I've got for you today. As always, none of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market, and as always, cowboy out. Peace.